Hello and welcome, I'm Chris and this is the hair tutorial channel, and on this video I'm going to be talking about the Affinage Salon Professional Gothic series. This range of 5 colours can be used to create silvers and greys on pre-lightened hair, as well as added into the infinity bases or colours to give you nice root smudges. So if you're new to the channel, why don't you like, subscribe and hit the notification button for more great videos. And if you're coming back, it's lovely to see you. So let's just do it. So you've seen the pictures on Instagram and Facebook of these fantastic greys and silvers, and Gothic is how you achieve this. However, the process of getting there can sometimes be difficult. So let me just talk you through it. Now there's 2 things that you want to bear in mind when you're using the Gothic. Firstly, that is your processing time, and secondly, it's the tone that you've lifted the hair to. Both of these things will affect your results. So Gothics use a mixture of grey and blue to deposit, and eventually that deposits and makes grey. So the first thing that we have to look at is the underlying tone. To achieve what you see on the swatches, apart from the 117, which will work on all bases to give you a nice rich dark black, you're going to have to pre-lighten the hair to at least a clean 10. If you can't get it to a clean 10, you won't get the results that you see on the swatches. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pre-lighten the hair, whether that's with a high lift or with your bleach. I would also highly recommend that you use the Vitaplex in this process, as it's going to help with the integrity of the hair, and also it's going to give you a nicer, cleaner result. Now once you've got your client up to a 10, if there is any yellow in the hair, you are going to need to tone this out before you apply your Gothics. You really want the hair to be as clean as you possibly can. So if you've lifted it up to a 10, you could use a mixture of your 10.0 and your 10.2.1 with converter, put it on and visually watch it. You could use your 10.2 with converter and visually watch it, or you could use your T2 with converter and visually watch it. You just want to eliminate all of the yellow from the hair, and this is why I would do my Vitaplex treatment at the end of my bleaching or lightening process, so that it has the perfect base, not only for the toner to work properly, but also for the Gothics to work properly. Now when it comes to applying the Gothics, you have 2 mixing ratios. You can use it with your converter, which is a 1:2. This will work more like a toner, but must be left on for 25 minutes, and I'll explain why in a second, to give you a more subtle result and one that will gradually fade off. Or you can mix it at 1 to 1.5 with your 3% and left on the full 45-minute processing time. And again, it must be left on the full processing time. Now the reason the full processing time is so important is the way that these colours combine the green and the blue to mix. And I'm going to put a little diagram up here. So during the processing time, it deposits green and then blue and green and then blue. If you remove the colour at any point during that processing time, you will end up with a green or a blue colour. So as much as you're looking at the hair, worrying, pacing, just leave it for the full processing time. As long as you've maintained the integrity of the hair and you've removed the yellow, you will end up with your result. Now the other thing I often find is the maintenance of the Gothics. A lot of clients tend to use a violet shampoo. Now remember, violet neutralises gold, and certainly on naturally white or grey hair, it's going to remove those unwanted yellow tones and really help clean the hair out. However, personally, when I'm using the Gothics, I would recommend the Gothic shampoos or the Colour Care shampoo, and this will help to maintain the colour much better than a violet shampoo. Now when your client returns and they want the same thing again, obviously you're going to have to pre-lighten up the root again. However, if the ends have merely faded, this is when you can just refresh through those mid-lengths and ends with the converter. If there's any unwanted tone, or you want to change the tone in the ends, I would recommend the Affinage Deep Cleanse Shampoo on dry hair before you start any of the processes, just to remove any excess colour or unwanted tone out of the hair before you start this process. Now the Gothics have become massively popular as well by adding them into your infinity colours to give you fantastic results when it comes to root smudging. Now This is just a guide and you'll need to have a play around because of depending on the base of your client and the underlying tones. However, personally, I like to use either my .0, which is a green ash, or my .00, which is a neutral, as the bulk of my colour. So I would use half to 3/4 of this colour and add in 1/4 of my chosen Gothic. Obviously, the darker the Gothic, the darker the result you'll get. So let's do an example. Let's say I want a nice root smudge on a base 6. I would use either my 6.0 or my 6.00, 3/4 as my base, and I would add in 1/4 of my 6.117, and this is going to give me a really nice flat root smudge. Now, of course, you can vary these quantities depending on the base of the client and the underlying tone of the client. So there is no one rule fits all. Remember, you're cocktailing here and you're individualizing the colour. Somebody that already has a very flat base, you might not want to use the .0 on and might want to use the 00 just so that it doesn't go too flat. So if you've liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification button, and I'll see you next time for more great videos.